Greetings YouTubers, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts collection overview video. The gang is all here. We're gonna go through the Blue Underground collection. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Get yourselves relaxed, get a beverage and a snack, and stretch out like these pretty girls are. And let's check out these awesome movies. Alright, so we're going to go through the Blue Underground collection in this video, and we're going to start with Blu-rays, alphabetized, starting with numbers. And we're going to continue down and get into the DVDs where that box set starts. And then we're going to finish up here with this third shelf. And there's a stack on the floor that need to go on the shelf too, and we'll finish with those. So let's get into the first little corner here, and let me see. First one is the 3-disc limited edition of 99 Women. It is a Jess Franco movie. It also includes the Notorious French version Blu-ray. It's a 3-disc set. And there's a CD soundtrack. I believe it is a Blu-ray DVD CD soundtrack. And actually, I take that back. It's 2 Blu-rays and a CD soundtrack. The bonus Blu-ray is 99 Women French version. And it comes with a collectible booklet. Next one is 1990. The Bronx Warriors, a film by Enzo G. Castellari, kind of a apocalyptic type action fighting movie. These are fun. They're low budget fun drive-in movies. 1982. Next, I talked about this movie several times here on the channel. This is definitely a hidden gem I recommend to you guys. If you like slasher movies, you'll be pleasantly surprised, I think. Directed by Dick Maas. And it's pretty unique in that, well, the killer changes masks. That's been done before. But there's a lot of, let's see, how can I put it? There's a lot of waterways that are utilized in this movie with boats and stuff like that. There's a really cool boat chase scene in some of the canals and the waterways. It's really beautifully done. This is a really, really good and underrated and not very much talked about. Next one is called Bad Boy Bubby. This one's kind of rare. I'm not sure if it still is. I also talked about this movie a couple different times. This is another post-apocalyptic type movie, and it's very, very weird. It's definitely not for everybody, and I'm not going to discuss it much further than that. The next one is Argento's The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. This was released by Blue Underground in 2009, and the movie's from 2007. Next is a spaghetti western, 2-disc special edition, Bullet for the General, starring John Maria Volante and Klaus Kinski. And this was released by Blue Underground in 2012. It's a movie from 1967. It says the original music was by Luis E. Bacalov, but it was supervised by Ennio Morricone. And it was directed by Damiano Damiani. So that is bullet for the general. Okay, so moving along to the next one. It's another spaghetti western. A film by Sergio Corbucci, who did the original Django. This is called Compañeros. Great cast. You have Franco Nero, Tomas Milian, Jack Palance. It's another spaghetti western from the 60s. Music by Morricone. This is unrated, and it was released by Blue Underground in 2014. And it's a movie from the 70s. In 1970, I thought it was 60s, but it was 1970 exactly. There's Tomas Milian right there. Sergio Corbucci also did The Great Silence. Was a great director. The next one is the original, The Crazies. This is the George A. Romero original Pandemic Nightmare. This is a pretty decent movie. This, to me, was one of the rare cases, I think, where the remake was much better than the original, just my opinion. And this was released by Blue Underground in 2010, and it's a movie from 1973. Next one is Argento's The Cat O' Nine Tails, starring Karl Malden. And let's see what I can tell you about this one. It came out in 2011, movies from 1970. And has music by Ennio Morricone. And it was produced by Dario's brother, Salvatore Argento. And it's 112 minutes running time, which is crazy. That's a long movie. That's almost 2 hours of slasher movie. Let's see. You can watch it with English audio. You can also watch it with English subtitles. And you can watch it in Italian and French audio, and also with French subtitles and Spanish subtitles. That's pretty cool. Cat O' Nine Tails. The next one is a double feature. It's a Christopher Lee double feature, and this one has Klaus Kinski in Edgar Wallace's Circus of Fear and the 5 Golden Dragons. Kind of a weird combo, Christopher Lee and Kinski, but it worked. Let me see here. This twin pack was released by Blue Underground in 2016. Circus of Fear came out in 1966. 5 Golden Dragons came out in 1967. All right, so where were we here? The City of the Living Dead by Lucio Fulci. I noticed, this is just kind of a small gripe to me, but I only call him Fulci. I noticed that there's a lot of people, and it happened all kind of at the same time several years ago now, but everybody was calling him Lucio Fulci, and I guess technically that could be the proper pronunciation, Lucio Fulci, but the different dialogue, there's different regions of Italian, and I always thought it was Lucio. And it doesn't matter to me. I really don't care. It's nothing to argue about or anything, but I've always known him as Lucio Fulci, and I've even heard him called Lucio Fulci, which is not wrong, but I think those two are more acceptable than Lucio. It just sounds kind of Americanized that way, to me anyway. Good movie though, 2010 it was released by Blue Underground, and it came out in 1980. Look at that classic scene right there. Another classic cover too. As far as pronunciations go and YouTube go, YouTube is a really funny place. There's a lot of fake experts here, and a guy will literally learn something today and run around with it tomorrow like he's the expert on the, you'll see that a lot here. And that happens a lot with pronunciations and just, I remember a few years ago too when the Jason, when Harry Manfredini said it wasn't chi 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 ha 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 like everybody thought it was, and he said it was ki 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 ma ma ma, like kill for ma, and everybody was running around saying, you dummy, it's not chi 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 ha ha, like they were the authority on it. And it's just, come on, get out of here, man. You're really not that cool. Really not that cool at all. The next one is another double feature. This is a Christopher Lee double feature called The Blood of Fu Manchu and The Castle of Fu Manchu, both of which are Jess Franco movies. This is why I enjoy channels like, I'm gonna put a couple channels down below that I think you guys should check out. I've shouted these guys out before, but these guys to me are the real deal. They don't fake or front, come on here and act like they know everything. Gratu Orloff, Meyer Greenblatt, and especially Captain Strange Life. And we'll put Gotham City Comics on there too, Kevin. All of these guys are really stand-up guys. So all four of those guys are all friends with each other, like they're pretty tight friends. And I found out about Meyer Greenblatt through Captain Strange Life. And then when I started watching Meyer's channel, I really liked it. And then I got to meet, or got to be introduced to Gratu Orloff's channel. And then in return, through Gratu Orloff, I got to meet, or not meet, but learn about Kevin's channel. And I really like to network that way, to learn, you know, to watch like-minded channels. I'll leave all of those channels. I think you guys will check them out. Go subscribe to them. These dudes need more subscribers. They deserve way more subscribers. So I'm glad I got to shout those guys out. It's been a while, and I want to see those guys grow. This little twin pack came out in 2017. And the Fu Manchu movies were from the 60s, right? Let's see. 1968. Both of them. 1968. I don't know if Christopher Lee would be able to play a role like this in this day and age, although things are kind of correcting now in a hurry. Oops, shoot, sorry about that. I just don't know yet if that would be deemed insensitive. To me, it's not. I don't have any issues with that, but and we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get off on a little side tangent here, but I think some people would probably not like the fact that Christopher Lee was playing an Asian role like that. And the next one, this is a really cool edition. It's a triple pack. You get the Cat O' Nine Tails, Deep Red, and Inferno. Deep Red is another very underrated, very hardly ever talked about on YouTube or anywhere really. But each movie comes on its own disc, so this is really cool. It's a heavy pack. 3 discs in there. Here is the 4K release of Daughters of Darkness. You get the 4K, you get the Blu-ray, and you get a CD soundtrack. So it's another heavy 3-disc set. Comes with this lenticular slipcover, which the image doesn't really pop. It doesn't do anything other than just kind of provide a 3D depth. I'm not going to turn around each movie anymore. It seems like it was kind of slowing the video down. We're just going to kind of keep rolling. I got to stop leaning. There's a shelf that I'm kind of putting my elbow on, and I'm not going to do that anymore because it's making too much noise. But here's a pretty fun movie. It's a zombie type movie. It's called Dead and Buried. This was the first release of it. I'm just going to turn this one around, so I'm going to see what year that Blue Underground released this. 2015. And the movie was from 1981. I think this is pretty good. It's another underrated gem. I'm going to call it a gem. I like it a lot. And then they re-released it as a 4K with a couple of lenticular covers, and this is the Needle to the Eye cover. See if I can show you that without the glare. Look at that. That's pretty effective. And these 4Ks were released in 2021. So we got that one, and then there was also the Burning one, where this guy, if you watch the movie, this guy just gets burned alive, and it kind of shows the charred corpse. Another really effective lenticular, and I'll just kind of put those side by side so you can see them. The next one is called Death Dream. Another reason why I like to do these collection overview videos is because I like to kind of go through them again to kind of revisit what I have and try to track down some of the stuff that I'm missing. And I'm going to be making some Blue Underground purchases here within the next week or so. This was pretty good. This was a good one. This was directed by Bob Clark, who did A Christmas Story, of all things. And he also did Black Christmas. So very versatile, a couple of different Christmas classics, kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. You have A Christmas Story, which is a very heavy, family-friendly, yearly timeless classic. And then you have Black Christmas, which is also a timeless classic, more on the horror slasher side. It's also a yearly watch, at least for me in this house it is. The next one is called Deathline. A couple of legends here. You got Donald Pleasence and Christopher Lee. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo. And I'm trying to see when this one was released. In 2017 by Blue Underground. The movie's from 1972. Here's the standalone edition of Deep Red, also called Profondo Rosso, which is the Italian title. Here's Django Kill, starring Tomas Milian as Django. Django Kill, If You Live, Shoot. It's a fun spaghetti western. Here's the original Django, starring Franco Nero. Nero is the best Django, and this is a great movie. If you like spaghetti westerns, or if you like westerns in general, but you never really got into the spaghetti westerns, start with this one. It's really good. But I'm sure most of you have, because the Dollars trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, those are all spaghetti westerns, and everybody has seen those. Here's another movie by Dick Maas, who also did the aforementioned Amsterdam. And this is called Down. This is the Blu-ray DVD combo. And it was, let me see, these two are directed by the same director. Let's see if I have this right, because I always forget. But we're going to find out here in a second. I believe The Lift was the original by Dick Maas. And then he remade his own movie called Down years later. So let's see how many years later. Let's see if I'm even right. It might be vice versa. This was released in 2017 by Blue Underground. The movie is from 2001. So this is the remake. And this one was released in 2017, but it's a movie from 1983. So these are the two Dick Maas movies. Very suspenseful, very claustrophobic, frightening. Good movies. Next one is Escape from the Bronx, part of the Bronx Warriors trilogy from Castellari. Blu-ray DVD combo. Here's a Jess Franco movie called Eugenie, starring Christopher Lee, or not starring Christopher Lee, but he's in it. It's a 3-disc set. And we have a sci-fi, suspense, horror themed, The Final Countdown. A great cast. You have Kirk Douglas, Martin Sheen, and James Ferrantino, who to me had one of the most, James Ferrantino had one of the most beautiful wives ever. Deborah Ferrantino, I always had a huge crush on her. She's a gorgeous redhead. She was in Earth 2 and she was just absolutely stunning. She was the captain of the ship in that movie. If you haven't seen Earth 2, it was a very short-lived sci-fi television series. I definitely recommend it. You can probably find it for a very reasonable, cheap price, inexpensive. Definitely do check it out. Here's a Ralph Bakshi sword and sorcery movie called Fire and Ice, with the kind of a lenticular, not a lenticular, but like a foil slipcover. It's a fun movie. Here's another spaghetti western. This one's called Get Mean, starring Tony Anthony. I always got Tony Anthony and Anthony Stephan mixed up for some reason. This is the 2-disc limited edition, but this is Tony Anthony, it says right there. So, next one is God Told Me To. This is a Larry Cohen movie. It's not really that good of a movie, but I do like watching this because it has a sounds like somebody's outside shooting, but there's a dude up the street who has a little rice burner car, and I think he's only running on like 3 cylinders, and that thing's popping all the way down the street with a hoopty. But you do get kind of that gritty New York feel in the New York scenery from the 70s. This was, let me see, when did this come out? It says 2004, but I know, okay, 1975. I knew there was no way this was even close to the 2000s. 1975. You definitely do get that gritty, kind of that grimy, inner New York City vibe in that one. I enjoy movies like that. And here's the 4K Blu-ray upgrade. Same movie. It looks a lot better on 4K, but to me, I'll be honest with you, a movie like this doesn't need to be scrubbed up squeaky clean, and actually to me it has more of a charm when it has kind of a lower resolution, you know, like a DVD or just regular Blu-ray. It doesn't need to have a 4K squeaky clean transfer. It's a drive-in style movie from the 70s, you know, it doesn't have to look like it was made yesterday. Here's a twin bill here. You get Hell of the Living Dead and Rats. This is a pretty fun, again, I like to say drive-in style, but these are definitely drive-in style movies. Get a big bowl of popcorn and your favorite beverage and just turn your brain off and watch. Just sit and watch. You don't have to do a whole lot of thinking when you're watching movies like that. Next one is Argento's Inferno. It's another good one. Kind of, I would say this is more in the middle of the road for his movies. It's not great, but it's definitely not terrible. It's somewhere in the middle. Let me see if I can show this one. Okay, you can show it. This is another film by Franco. It's Marquis de Sade's Justine, the 3-disc set. Klaus Kinski, Jack Palance. You get a Blu-ray, you also get a DVD, and you get a CD soundtrack for that one. It's another killer 3-pack. It's called a Killer Thrillers Collection. You get Baba Yaga, Night Train Murders, and Strip Nude for your killer. They each come on their own disc. We already talked about The Lift, but that's where that fits in alphabetically. Here's another great one. I think this is a really fun British zombie movie called The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. I think this is really, really good. I'm trying to think of the alternate title. Hold on one second. I have a tin with the regular title. I'll be right back. So this was the original title, or at least in the US it was, Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. Now this is the Anchor Bay tin, so it doesn't really have anything to do with the Blue Underground collection, although Blue Underground was a offshoot of Anchor Bay. It was a subsidiary. They were the same company under the umbrella, and they have split off since, but I just wanted to show those two together. I kind of like this title better, The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. There we go again. Not good, not good. I'm trying to have a chill video and I'm making all kinds of unnecessary noise. Let's continue. Next one, there's a couple of the same movie here. It's an upgrade. So this was the original first release. I just want to flip this one over and see when Blue Underground released it. 2011. And I enjoy this movie too, and it's a great cover. Another Lucio movie. And then here was the 4K upgrade with slipcover and a beautiful, beautiful cover. And this one was released in 2020. And I forgot there was a 3-disc special edition with this lenticular, and this thing is gorgeous. Not sure it's going to pick up exactly all the detail in this lenticular cover, but it's definitely just a 3D depth driven slipcover. There's no action on here, but in person it really looks good. That zombie in the front is kind of way in the front and everything else is way in the back. You know, it kind of takes steps going further back, and then the house is way, way in the back. So it's a 3-disc set. You get a Blu-ray, a CD soundtrack, and another Blu-ray. So it's a 2 Blu-ray set and a CD soundtrack. So let's put all 3 of these back up. And there you go. Have to play the glare game. The next one is called Love Camp 7. It's a 2-disc limited edition. You get the original uncensored version. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo. That movie's pretty controversial, so we're gonna keep moving. The next one is a really nice triple pack. It's a Fulci collection. You get City of the Living Dead, The House by the Cemetery, and the New York Ripper. Really cool set. Next one is called Man, Pride, and Vengeance. Franco Nero, Klaus Kinski. Here's Fulci's Manhattan Baby. This is a 3-disc set because you get a Blu-ray, DVD, and the compact disc with the soundtrack. Another great cover though. And we have another kind of 3 movie, kind of the history of the releasing of this movie. So we'll start with the first one here on the far left. This was the first edition that was released by Blue Underground in 2012. And the movie is from 1980. And then they released a 3-disc limited edition, and this one had 2 Blu-rays and a CD soundtrack, plus it had a lenticular cover, and it says it has a new 4K restoration. It's not a UHD disc, but it did have a cleaned up restoration. And this one came out in 2018, and then they released it with the UHD disc. So you get the 4K disc, and you get special features on Blu-ray. And this one was released in 2020, so there is the sort of history of the releasing of William Lustig's Maniac. Another fun, kind of a grimy movie. You definitely need a shower when you're done watching this. You got to go and just scrub yourself down. It's pretty gross. So we got 2 more for this shelf. When we get to the next shelf, I'm going to try to see how we can record without my flash. Maybe that'll look a little bit better. This is Maniac Cop 2. And this is the Blu-ray DVD combo. Sorry. Another William Lustig movie. This one came out in 2013, and the movie is from 1990. I like the Maniac Cop movies. I think they're good. Starring, was Zadar in this one, or did he already pass away by this one? Written and produced by Larry Cohen, but directed by William Lustig. It does have Robert Zadar. Robert Zadar had some kind of a medical issue where his face had some kind of a growth spurt. I'm not sure how to. I'm definitely not medical. I'm not medically trained to give anybody advice or to even diagnose people, and I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But Zadar had a huge chin because he had some kind of an issue. And here was so this was the Blu-ray DVD combo, and then this one was the ultra high definition 4K and Blu-ray combo. So these are pretty fun movies. Okay, we'll try the second shelf for a couple and see how it works out, because I have the flash off now and it looks pretty dark, but it may work. We'll see. It may work. Half of you guys are probably sleeping by now, or you already checked out, so it doesn't matter. So we have a couple editions of Maniac Cop 3, Badge of Silence. So this was the Blu-ray DVD combo pack, collector's edition with slipcover. I think by this time Zadar was no longer in the franchise. Oh, he still is. Yeah, he still is in this one. Part 1, you guys of course know that Bruce Campbell was in it, and they had like dueling chins in that movie. So this one was the Blu-ray DVD combo, and it was released by Blue Underground in 2013. That's a really beautiful edition, by the way. I'm really happy with that. But then they even outdid themselves with the 4K and Blu-ray edition. And this is the unrated. Oops, this one slid right out almost. And this one came out in 2021. So there's a little Maniac Cop 3 history for you. See if we can get a better viewing here. You would think by now all these videos I make, they would be a little bit better than they are. I guess you can just come to expect this from me. The next one is called The Nesting. Haunted house type movie from 1980, does that say? So without the flash, I'm gonna put the flash on after this one, because even though there's a little bit of glare with the flash, I could at least read. Right here, I can't read anything on that. Yeah, let me stop it really quick to put the flash on. Be right back. Okay, that's way better. Even if I have to kind of fight the flash, it's not a big deal. This one came out in 1980. And this particular release was from Blue Underground in 2011. And here's the third and final of the trilogy. This is the New Barbarians. That's pretty cool. These movies are pretty fun. I really like these movies too, and we're going to pull out all three of them. Another little kind of a history of the releasing of these movies. This is Fulci's The New York Ripper. That was the first issue. Then they re-released it as a 3-disc collector's edition with a slipcover and a Blu-ray, DVD, CD soundtrack with a 4K restoration. Beautiful slipcover. And then they re-released it again, but this time with a UHD 4K disc and Blu-ray. Man. Now, I like this movie a lot, but it's not a great movie, but it's very good. It's very good to me. I would give it a 7 out of 10, which is good to me for a horror movie. This one was released in 2009. The movie was released in 1982. This particular edition was released in 2019. I think I like that the best. This is another movie that, to me, you don't really need a 4K. I mean, if you have it, cool, it's collectible. But of these three, I think I like the middle one. If I can only pick one, I would take the middle one. And then this one was released in 2020. So there's a little history of the release of the New York Ripper. All right, how you guys doing? You need a break or anything? Or you want to keep going? Let's keep going. Here's another really fun slasher movie. It's an underrated, kind of a hidden gem. This one's called The Prowler. I like this movie quite a bit. This is a movie from 1981, and it was released in 2010. There's a still frame. You can tell that this is a pretty gruesome movie. Next one is called Shockwaves. Another great cover. A different kind of take on the zombie genre. These zombies were killed in a war. I think it was a war, right? But they had sunk to the bottom of the water, and they were coming back from the depths of the water, and they were kind of like waterlogged, soaked, zombies. There's Peter Cushing. And this one came out in 1976. It was kind of ahead of its time, I think. This was well before the zombie craze, and this is actually it's a very good zombie movie. Here's Michael Swaby's Stage Fright. This is another good slasher movie, underrated. Blue Underground was killing it back then. They were really having some great releases. This one came out in 1987. It was released in 2014. And we have a couple editions here of the Stendhal Syndrome. So we'll pull those out side by side. So this was the first release of it here. It's a Dario Argento movie, and his daughter stars in the movie, Asia Argento, and I think she's quite gorgeous, even though she's got some issues. And then they re-released it as a Blu-ray, DVD, and I think this one did a CD soundtrack. Let's see. It says disc 1 and disc 2, but it doesn't. I'm going to pause it. We're going to break into this one, and we'll take a look at the inside. But before I do that, we'll just kind of take a look at the back of this one. And this one came out in 2008, and it's a movie from 1995. So let me pause it. We'll take this one out of its case, and we'll look at the discs and the inside. Okay, so we have it all pulled apart. This is a really nice edition. So we'll take a closer look at the slipcover. it's embossed, so the shards of glass are kind of set up a little higher than the rest of the slipcover. It may be hard to see that, but it is. You'll have to take my word for it. And it came with a booklet. Decent thick booklet too. I don't want to open it up too much. I don't know what to expect. And then here are the 3 discs. It's a Blu-ray and 2 DVDs. So there is a DVD, the bonus DVD called 2007 Featurettes. And then you have a Blu-ray and a DVD of the movie. And there's also a reversible cover, but it's just this image. So I'm not gonna pull those discs out. So it's that image, or you can have this image. And then here's the slipcover image. And there they are, side by side again. Really nice editions. The movie is not great. Again, this is probably somewhere in the middle of Argento's releases. Maybe like a little bit lower middle even. But it's still a fun watch, and this is definitely a really beautiful edition right here. Okay, moving right along here, we have Sergio Martino's Torso, starring the beautiful Susie Kendall. Redhead, gorgeous. And this is a fun movie. This one came out in 1973, and Blue Underground put it out in 2015. That's a really cool edition. And we have Tobe Hooper's, the original Toolbox Murders. They're calling it the original exploitation classic. It's fun. It's not one of Tobe Hooper's greatest, but it's definitely pretty fun. I would say this is probably middle, upper middle for Hooper's releases. And this movie came out in 1977, released by Blue Underground in 2010. We have George A. Romero and Argento. They collabed together. They each had a 1-hour segment or 1-hour movie of, this is called Two Evil Eyes. And the movies were Black Cat and how come I forgot what the second one was? It says the masters of modern horror, Romero and Argento, bring you an unprecedented pair of shockers inspired by the tales of Edgar Allan Poe. Romero's The Facts in the Case of Mr. Valdemar, that's it. And Argento did the Black Cat. Let's see here, we'll take this out. There's Mr. Valdemar right there, by the way. That was creepy. I like that one better, but they're both pretty good. You can see on the inside they have kind of the chapter stops or chapter selections. That is Two Evil Eyes. And this one was released by Blue Underground in 2009. The movie's from 1989. And they re-released it as a 3-disc collector's edition. This time the lenticular kind of does a little pendulum swing with that skeleton arm and hand holding the pocket watch. And it's a 3-disc set. You get 2 Blu-rays and a CD soundtrack for the movies. This thing is really beautiful. And Blue Underground released this one in 2019. So that's the little history of the Two Evil Eyes movies. I don't know if this one had a 4K release yet. You guys will have to let me know, or I can easily just do a Google search or a Blue Underground website search. But I try to invoke some comments if you guys have anything to say. I enjoy reading them. So anyway, let's move on. Well, disregard that question, and I completely forgot that they had released it on 4K, and I do have it already. So this is the 4K release. So now we have all 3. And this one, look at that cover. That's beautiful. This one was released in 2021. It comes in a black case. Really beautiful stuff. So there is the full history. So we have the Blu-ray, the 3-disc set, which includes the CD soundtrack, and then we have the 4K UHD and special features Blu-ray. Okay, moving along here, we have 2 more releases of the same movie. This is another one that's pretty fun. I like this one. It's called Uncle Sam, and they re-released it as a 4K UHD with probably one of the better lenticular slipcovers. We'll look at that here in a minute. Before we move on, I want to look at the back of this one. That's a great character too. And this one was released in 2010. The movie came out in 1996. If you haven't seen this one, I think you'd like it. It's pretty fun. And then check out this lenticular here. There we go. So that's pretty great. And this one came out in 2022. I love it. Okay, we're Venom. Oliver Reed is in this one. This one's actually pretty good. This one is kind of a different take. Susan George is also in it too. They tried to use the venom of the, what kind of snake was it? Mamba. The green mamba, I think. We'll read on the back here. But this is a Blu-ray DVD combo. They're calling it the collector's edition. Sterling Hayden, Klaus Kinski, Susan George, Oliver Reed. What a cast. And it's kind of a thriller. There's horror themes to it, but it's more like a thriller suspense, kind of a crime. They're trying to kill people using the venom of a black mamba, it says here in the back. It's supposed to be one, it was one of the most deadly snakes in the world. The venom is. Okay, so the next little stack here, I got 5 movies from the same movie. So that is the 2-disc Ultimate Edition of Fulci's Zombie. When I was critiquing earlier the pronunciation of Fulci, that was not directed at any particular one person, though there was one person a couple of years ago who was really kind of talking down to his viewers and he was on his soapbox and he was making it look like, you know, like he was like the next coming of Christ and all that stuff. And I'm not going to say his name, and yes, it was a he, but that wasn't directed at anybody else, so don't take offense to that. And I probably shouldn't even have brought it up, but anyway, we'll just keep moving here. There's a couple editions of Zombie. I really enjoy this movie a lot. I think most people do. I'm going to put this one on one shelf higher just so I can kind of spread these out a little bit. But this was I remember when this first came out, this edition here. It was hard to find this because there was a lot of slipcovers that were really damaged. And there was a lot of dings and scratches. This one has kind of a foil slipcover, and it was kind of scratching almost like a lottery ticket, how it was just leaving like these big scratches in there. You know how you can like easily scratch a lottery ticket with your thumb? Well, it was kind of similar to me. That's what it looked like. So it was really hard to find good ones, and this particular slipcover is definitely not gem mint, but it's in pretty decent condition, but it's far from mint. But anyway, the movie came out in 1979. This particular edition came out in 2011. Then they re-released it with 3 different lenticular covers. I'll go with my first favorite of the 3, and then we'll do my favorite last. So this is the bridge cover. It doesn't do anything other than show you 3D depth. And this is a 4K restoration. You get 2 Blu-rays and a CD soundtrack. This is a really nice edition. And then you get that's the famous zombie in the movie. And this is the worms coming out of its eye when it comes out of the ground. When you first meet this zombie, you can see his mouth closing and the worms kind of sliding out of his eye socket. That's my second favorite cover. Everything is exactly the same. You get 2 Blu-rays and a CD soundtrack. Everything is exactly the same except for the slipcover, that's all. And then this was the Splinter Eye, and this one is really effective and very painful. You can see where the splinter is just about to hit that eyeball, and then it gets plunged in there. That is pretty gruesome, pretty awesome too. And these came out in 2018. So we'll put those back, and then I'll show you the 4K. So here is the 4K. It's kind of plain Jane looking at the other ones, but this is still beautiful. I mean, if this just came out with no other releases, this would be awesome in its own right. But so this is a 4K Blu-ray, and this one was released in 2020. So that was the little history of Fulci's Zombie, also known as Zombie Flesh Eaters, also known as Zombie 2. Talked about this a million times on the channel. Okay, so now we're getting into the DVDs. That Zombie 4K was the last Blu-ray, or 4K. So that was pretty epic titles. Blue Underground was really knocking it out, and they don't release as many as they used to, but they still put out some really good stuff, and I'll always be a fanboy of Blue Underground. So now we're going to get into the DVDs, starting with this box set. I don't remember why I put this first, but we're going to go through this first, and then I have a multi-pack here, so we'll talk about those. This one's kind of rare just because of the packaging, and then we're going to get into the A's and go through the alphabet. So let's start here with, this is called the Spaghetti Western Collection. It's a really nice box set. You get some really good movies. So you get the original Django, then you get Django Kill, you get Run Man Run, and Manaja. So I'm going to take these out and show you the covers. But before I do, we'll look at the box. These are what the covers look like. I'm still going to take them out. We're going to go through and do this right. Each film in this collection has been created from pristine vault elements, loaded with extras, and presented totally uncut and uncensored for the first time ever in America. Well, here's what they look like. All of these movies are fun. There's Maurizio Merli, Tomas Milian, Franco Nero. Django came out in 1967. And this one, 1966 it says here. And it was released in 2002 by Blue Underground. Django Kill came out in 1967. Also 2002. Run Man Run came out in 1968. And Manaja came out in 1977. Very fun, cool little box set. The next one is a little twin pack, and although it is rare, it's a little more rare than these other ones. It's not particularly expensive or really scarce, but to get these together, they used to kind of double pack their movies, and they would put them on sale sometimes, and I think it was a great idea because they used different packaging, which is now a little more collectible. And they did this for other movies too, but this particular set has Uncle Sam and Death Dream, and they're calling it limited availability. You get 2 movies, 1 low price, Zombie Soldiers Twofer, and I really like that, so I wanted to pick that up, and I'm keeping it sealed just for the collectability because I already do have these movies open already, and I do view those on different releases. So the next one is called Autopsy. Don't really know a lot about this one because I haven't seen it. The next one, have to be careful. This one is called Bear Behind Bars, and we're gonna keep moving. Here's a Euro crime movie called The Big Racket, directed by Enzo G. Castellari, who did the Bronx Warriors trilogy. There I go again, banging stuff. Here's Argento's The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Comes in this pretty cool slipcover, even though it's kind of plain. I like the way it looks, black and red with that bird there with the plumage of knives. And this is a 2-disc special edition. Now we're getting into some Giallo here, the next 3 anyway. This is called The Black Belly of the Tarantula. Barbara Bach is in here. I always had a crush on Barbara Bach, and Barbara Boucher is also in here as well, and she was gorgeous. The next one is called A Blade in the Dark. It's a Lamberto Bava movie. Vinegar Syndrome has a really nice Blu-ray of that. The next one is called The Case of the Bloody Iris. This one has Edwidge Fenwick and George Hilton. And we have The Bloody Judge. It's a Jess Franco movie starring Christopher Lee. If you want to see Christopher Lee as a judge, well, pick up The Bloody Judge. Your wish will be granted. Next one is called The Blood Spattered Bride. Another Giallo movie. This director has the coolest name ever. This is The Bloodstained Shadow. And the director, oh no, this is not the one I was thinking of. This is Antonio Beto from 1978. I was thinking of a different movie, sorry about that. The next one is called Cannibal Man. We have Argento's The Cat O' Nine Tails. I had to stop it and delete a little bit when I was talking about Cat O' Nine Tails. Hannah fired off a pretty loud bark, and I deleted it. And I wish I would have kept it though, and it just added it to the end of the video. But I was only talking a little bit about it. Wasn't really saying too much. Not much else to say about Argento's The Cat O' Nine Tails. We talked about it earlier, so we're just gonna keep moving on. The next one is a Jess Franco movie called Celia. You're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily. Oh, Cecilia, I'm down on my knees. I'm begging you, please, to come home. Come on home. You can't get through a Toddy Walnuts video without a song. I don't know anything about this movie, so I wanted to sing a little bit about it. It has nothing to do with the movie. That's just a Paul Simon. I think that was a Simon and Garfunkel song, actually. Not just Paul Simon. Good song, by the way, though. Cecilia, check it out. Great song. Next one is called Contamination, and this one's also called Contamination .7. This is a good little sci-fi horror movie. And the last one for this shelf on DVD is Romero's The Crazies. Again, not much to say about it because we talked about it earlier. Good movie, but the remake has surpassed this, I think. It's much better. Okay, so I had to ditch my chair now because we have to go down a shelf. So now Big Man is on the floor, so I may be huffing and puffing here, but just because I'm in cramped quarters, we'll try to make this work. Next one is called The Church. It's a Suave movie. Let's see if I can get in here for a good view for you guys. I want to make this as comfortable for you as possible, even if I'm not quite that comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. Next one is called City of the Living Dead. Everybody knows that, but that's a great cover. Look at that. Here's Fulci's Contraband. It's a Euro crime movie, really good. And I have, I don't know why, but I have 2 of these. I think these were two different pressings. I think that's why I have two. This is Conquest. It's another Fulci movie. Fulci wasn't afraid to try different genres. So horror was his forte, but he did Eurocrime. He also did kind of sword and sandal, sword and sorcery type movies. This one came out in 2004. The movie was from 1982. I think this was a different pressing. This one came out in 2011. So basically what Blue Underground will do is they release one and it goes out of print or whatever, it sells out, and then years later they re-release it, which is pretty smart. I mean, they own the rights to these movies. You may as well, you know, release them. Here's Daughters of Darkness. Dead and Buried, limited edition. This was a numbered edition. Nice glossy kind of a foil slipcover. I got number 4,214. I don't know if it was limited to 5,000 or 10,000. I don't remember. I don't think I ever knew. Here's Deep Red. It's a great cover. Delirium with Mickey Hargitay, who was Mariska Hargitay's father. And he was Jane Mansfield's husband, and Jane Mansfield is also Mariska Hargitay's mother. The more you know. Here's Don't Torture a Duckling, Fulci. Here's The Fifth Chord. This one's really good. Franco Nero's chasing a serial killer. I really like that movie a lot. Here's the DVD edition of Fire and Ice. I'm going to pull this out because it has a pretty sweet lenticular slipcover. It just provides that 3D depth. It's really, really nice. It's a 2-disc limited edition. The Forbidden Photos of a Lady Above Suspicion. They're calling it a spicy giallo. Here's another Eurocrime called the Heroin Busters. How to Kill a Judge, another Eurocrime, Franco Nero, special edition of Argento's Inferno, a different edition of Argento's Inferno. Let's take a look at these side by side. Just two different covers of the same movie. Let's see, this one came out in 2011. This one, 2007. And the movie is from 1980. The next one is called The Killing Hour, by Giallo. This is an Italian title called La Scorta, and that's a mafia, kind of a crime. I think this is a true crime too, if I remember. In 1992. Yeah, this is it's based on a true story, if I remember. Next one is the 2-disc special edition of The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. Comes in that beautiful slipcover. Here's Lamberto Bava's Macabre. Eurocrime, Mad Dog Killer, also known as Beast with a Gun. Fulci's Manhattan Baby, special edition. Here's a DVD edition of Maniac with the slipcover. That was getting harder to find with the slipcover. Here's Menage again. We saw that in the box set earlier. Here's Mountain of the Cannibal God with a very beautiful Ursula Andress. Nightmare City. This is a fun zombie outbreak movie where the zombies move really fast. They can run and stuff. Night Train Murders, slasher movie. Prowler, another slasher movie. See, we talked about these already with the Blu-ray, so I'm just going to kind of blaze through. Here's the Pajama Girl case. I have a couple editions of Q the Winged Serpent. It's the same movie, just two different covers. It's actually the same cover, but it looks a little bit different. but these were two different releases. So this one came out in 2003. The movie's from 1982, by the way, and this one came out in 2012. This one came with a black case. It's a little bit heavier. This one feels light, and it's a clear case. Next one is called Rats, Bruno Mattei movie. Rats, Nights of Terror. Great cast here. Oliver Reed is Unhinged. That guy was awesome. He was one of my favorite actors of all time. This is called Revolver. It's a Euro crime. Seven Deaths in the Cat's Eye. Some of these Italian titles are just so damn good. They're really, really creative with their titles. Here's Mario Bava's Shock. And we have a couple editions of Shock Waves on DVD. And this one is called the Deep End of Horror Shock Waves. This one was called the Special Edition Shock Waves. This one in the black case came out in 2003. The movie, again, was from 1976. We talked about this one earlier. This release came out in 2014. Same movie, just two different covers. Next one is called Short Night of Glass Dolls. See what I mean about the titles? Next one is the same movie. It has two different covers. This is called Snuff. The one on the right was the special edition. And the first one was the original release with the brown paper bag. It was also a limited edition, numbered, but I don't remember what it was numbered to. And it says here on the cover, the film that could only be made in South America where life is cheap. And then here's the special edition. And this one was released in a red case in 2013. Next one is Stage Fright, the limited edition. The Stendhal Syndrome 2-disc special edition with slipcover. Street Law, Enzo G. Castellari, Franco Nero, Barbara Bach. Great movie. This is an excellent movie. And the last one for this shelf is Strip Nude for Your Killer. So I got this last little stack that was sitting on the floor, and then we're gonna wrap this shit show up. This first one is Tobe Hooper's The Toolbox Murders. Couple editions here of Torso. One was cut, the one here on the left, the red cover, that was cut, and the one here on the right is the uncensored English version. Now let's see exactly how long or how much was cut. This one is 92 minutes running time there, right there. It says not rated though, but this one's a little bit longer. No, this one's 90 minutes. See that there? So this one was cut, the English version was cut by 2 minutes, and this version was the full 92 minutes, I guess. And we have Two Evil Eyes. This was a limited edition. It was numbered, but you can already tell just by that number that there's no way that's limited. 17,000 is way too many to even be called limited. Next one's called Vampires, Jose Ramon Larraz. Here we have Venom. We already talked about that on Blu-ray, so no need to linger. This movie is excellent. Charles Bronson, Telly Savalas, and Bronson's wife, Jill Ireland, who he frequently brought in on his movies. And she wasn't a very good actress at all, in my opinion. But this movie is good. Violent City. I recommend that one. Bronson was great. Two more. Who Saw Her Die? And Zombie on DVD. So that was my Blue Underground Blu-ray and DVD collection box sets. I hope maybe I gave you guys some suggestions. If you want to give me a suggestion or two, please feel free to do so. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.